Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're doing fine. I'm also okay. A friend has asked me to comment on what's going on in Nakuru. There is a national drama festival in Nakuru, and Butere Girls is at it again, is on the news again. By again, I mean in 2013, Butere Girls were on the news. And guess who was on the news too? Cleophas Malala. In 2013, ladies and gentlemen, Cleophas Malala had written a play titled Shackles of Doom. After people saw it, and it was supposed to be performed at the national level. How they reached the national level, I don't know. But it was supposed to be performed at the national level. The content was like painting the Kikuyu community as people who have usurped the authority they have enjoyed to ensure they gift themselves the largest share of the national cake, leaving the rest of the country in poverty. That is what the Shackle of Doom was understood to target. That is what the Shackles of Doom was understood to mean. Considering that Uhuru Kenyatta was in power and he was coming from a family that is considered one of the richest in Africa, and which is being blamed for the lack of equity in the country in terms of sharing of national resources, the Ministry of Education banned that play. Of course, they went to court later, and I think the court lifted the ban, something like that. But what I was telling is that this is not the first time Butere, Girls, and Malala are on the news during the drama festival. So a friend asked, what do you think? And I want us, ladies and gentlemen, to approach it in terms of answering a question. The question would be, is Cleophas Malala biting more than he can chew, politically speaking? If this is a subject you are interested in, I'm urging you to stay tuned. And if you're watching for the first time, take a moment, subscribe to the channel so that when we produce a video of this nature, you will be notified. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2013, Malala was an MCA that had ambitions of being a senator or an MP. So what does he do? He writes a play that attacks the government of the day. He gives it to who? Not boys, girls. Now, these are people that if you attack them, the society will always frown at you. So, when they were banned from performing the play, Butere Girls became popular, but so did Malala. In fact, Malala became so popular that he went for the Senate of Kakamega and won with the ANC. So, it worked for him then. The goal was to be popular. He became popular. And they won. Today, Malala is opposed to William Ruto. Not that he has been in opposition to William Ruto for a very long time. No. He is opposed to William Ruto after he was removed from his position as the Secretary General of UDA party. And why was he removed? He was removed because he was aligned to one Rigathi Gachagua, who openly had started fighting government. So if you are going to have your party, which is supposed to drive the manifesto, led by someone who does not believe in the manifesto anymore, even though the person participated in forming the manifesto and has been promoting it all along since election, and has been promoting the manifesto since President Ruto was elected, you need to make changes. And so changes were made, and Hassan Omar was brought in to take over as the Secretary General of the party. Then Malala, as expected, followed the likes of Rigathi and the route of Muturi in attacking Ruto, criticizing the same programs they have been supporting all along. and calling Ruto every manner of name, painting him as the devil incarnate, etc. The funny thing is, Malala decided to give his ploy of 2023 another trial. And so he went to, guess who? Butere girls. And he combined. I have had the opportunity of watching the Echoes of War because, like the Shackles of Doom of 2013, it is not something that was to be exclusively performed at the national level. It has been performed before, those stages. So you can get the video and you can watch and you can hear them singing Kasongo must go, Kasongo is a liar, his lies are easy to decipher by even a 5-year-old. That is a play. What happened is that Malala took a collection of the political talk points they've had, the things Rigathi says in an interview, the things Muturi would say in a press conference, the things that Malala would say when he meets the media, all these things, the things Kalonzo would say, he combined all of them and made a play out of that and gave it to Butere girls. And the Butere girls want Aon to perform it, and they were supposed to perform it at the national level. The reason as to why Malala wanted this play so much to reach the national level is because at the national level, the president usually attends the drama festival. And remember, the drama festival is there yearly. It's not once after every 10 years. No, it's there yearly. In fact, that is when we knew during the drama festival is when Rigathi Gachagua told us that he was a playwright and he was an actor and all these things. So during that time, Malala was still with Ruto, and so he could not write anything. But now that is not with Ruto, he's written that, a compilation of the anti-Ruto talk points and called it a play, Echoes of War, and painted a very bad scenario for the country, that people are tired, people don't want to hear anything, that this country needs some sort of saving, maybe through war. You can find the drama, watch it for yourself, and see what it is, whether it is creativity or just political rhetorics, the usual political rhetorics from Tim Rigathi. So do I think Malala is going to achieve what his intentions are? Maybe he may bask in the glory for a while, but I don't think that nationally people who reason are going to accept that their kids, the ones they are paying school fee for, be used to play politics. Not all kids in Butere girls come from families that oppose William Ruto. So indoctrinating people's kid with your idea, when you are also not even a teacher, becomes very counterproductive in the long run. Because if that was to be allowed to be the norm, then tables do change. So one day another, Malala, let's say, is the president, or Rigathi Gachagua is the president, and another creative person writes, because politics is that whoever will be in power will be opposed. It doesn't matter whether they are what. They will be opposed. Look at Lee Kuan of Singapore. Did wonders, but he was being opposed. So human beings cannot agree. Human beings can never agree on the same thing. All of us can't. People will have different opinion. You don't want that different opinion to be given to your kid who is below 18. There is a reason why people are considered adult once they reach 18, not below. Even if you have insurance today, it allows you to cover those who are below 18 because they are considered kids. They are people still under your care. And you wouldn't want people under your care to go to some place and come back indoctrinated with the views of another person. They are supposed to be in school studying. If it is a matter of creativity, the creativity should not be political attacks aimed at one group while praising another. It should not be like that. But that is what Malala is trying to do, which will backfire in the fullness of time. But there's something that is giving them courage. You see, in June 20 in June of 2024, these people did an experiment. Can we try using young people, kids actually, some very young, to stage anarchy, to start anarchy? And they did. So they convinced some people that Ruto was the devil and he had to go. These people started hiding behind things like finance bill with pathetic lies. The things they believed were in the finance bill, I would quote Malala's play. Even a 5-year-old would see this as a lie. But nonetheless, they were looking for an excuse. They went with the finance bill. Even after it was withdrawn, they said they wanted the cabinet out. When the cabinet was brought down, Ruto must go. They never said Rigathi must go. Ruto must go. So that who takes over? When they were asked, they had stories of Jabba. When they were asked who takes over, if Ruto was to resign now, what happens? They had stories of Jabba that are never in the constitution. They knew very well that if Ruto was to go, Rigathi takes over as president. And that is what that nonsense was all about, by the way. They ended up banning parliament. They ended up vandalizing the Supreme Court, looting Nairobi dry. And so these people realized that, wow, we can use these kids. Because when you attack the kids and in an altercation with the police, if any loses their life, unfortunately, it becomes a very big deal. You've heard the story. Ruto killed our kids. Ruto killed our children. Ruto is a murderer. The blood of the children are with him. That is what you even hear with terrorist organizations. They will always hide where women and kids are, in a school or in an hospital. And so if you target that hospital or if you target that school, or hospital, you know what happens? They will be like, you're killing innocent people. This is genocide. This is massacre. This is everything. So this is what I think motivated, give Malala the boldness to try using even now younger kids, because he believes that anything you do against these kids is going to be frowned upon by the entire society. Number two, it will also help them with the narrative that Gen Zs across the board, people aged between 12 and 27, do not want to see Ruto. They want to take charge of their country and replace Ruto. Ruto has to go. Like I told you, the play itself Kasongo has to go in reference to Ruto. And it says why Ruto has to go. The same things Rigathi says, etc. Some of which are pathetic lies anyway. This, as I've told you, is going to backfire big time. Because eventually parents are not going to allow you to indoctrinate their kids. For now, maybe some parents who have have now been too political and want Ruto go maybe from some regions, fine. But eventually, nobody would want that to be our country. So I think Malala has bitten more than he can chew. Two, this is also not going to give him the popularity he got in 2013. He wants to be the governor of Kakamega. Politics of Western is purely partisan. If you are in Bungoma and maybe if you are in Bungoma and parts of Trans Nzoia, it's Ford Kenya. If you are in Kakamega, mostly ODM. And so Malala wants to be the governor of Kakamega. Let's say he waits for Rigathi to form his party in May, and then he uses that party to vie. I don't think he's going to make Ferdinand one-term governor. I don't think. Using a party from Mount Kenya, I have not seen that happening in that region. Maybe you have. You can share. But that's what I think. He's not going to win in terms of popularity, so he's going to lose. And two, parents eventually will not allow this kind of behavior. If parents will not, I think government will take drastic action to look at what teachers are imparting on the kids. The teachers are not supposed to play politics. It's part of their job description, by the way. They are not supposed to play politics with kids. So you cannot go to class and start teaching them to hate the MCA or to hate the MP or to hate the governor. That is not allowed in teaching. That's not how you teach people. You go there to impart knowledge. You tell them what they need to know, not politics. Politics is for adult people with ID. Let them handle. If Malala has issues with Ruto the way he does, let him just handle that. He doesn't need to. It's obvious people know he hates Ruto, so he doesn't need to hide again behind these kids. If the Butere girls also enjoys this fame, I think the best advice is that they should find other ways to be creative. You can't be creative by being antagonistic against the government. It doesn't work like that. Especially when you're a public school, it doesn't work like that. You cannot be running school purely based on controversy, especially a serious school like that. Whatever that is, the school, let the ministry deal with that. That's their purview. As for Malala, he is going to lose. Parents may not like him across the board eventually for trying to use the kids for these selfish goals. Everybody already knows who Malala is, so it's not adding to his popularity. Maybe just making him controversial. In my view, ladies and gentlemen, let me add, in my view, he's beaten more than he can chew. Let me hear from you. You believe Malala is doing justice by using kids to play politics? Or you believe that is the best form of creativity? Let me hear what you think in the comment section. If you found value, like the video and share it with friends. Otherwise, if you want to know why I'm persuaded Rigathi and Muturi are wasting their time, watch this video.